Thank you for tuning in to Ungentrified with Kent Johnson. Ungentrified takes an unfiltered view on pop culture, music, television and film, politics, current events, and topics central to the worldwide Black community. Ungentrified is a safe audio space for celebrating Black culture in its purest form. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Ungentrified. I'm your host, of course, Kent Johnson, and I have a good friend and a great guest with me today, and I'll tell you who that is shortly, but we're going to get into current events first. So are you ready to talk about what's been going on in the news?
Of course.
So today's current event segment is actually a cumulative current events. We're talking about white women and their telephonic tears. We over the last few weeks have been dealing with white women, and it seems, I don't recall any white men doing this, but it seems to be white women.
Don't worry, it's coming.
It's coming.
White gay men are gonna bring their tears, and you know what? I'm gonna be here for it, but I'm gonna be here with an answer.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what it is. Whenever this happens, I'm like, has this always been happening, or is it just now because it's a thing on both ends of the spectrum?
I'm going to tell you why it's happening. The reason that it's happening is because they realize that they are the reason that we have an orange president. And they're trying to, get out of it. It's not all of them. Because I think there are some white women that are looking with us with the side eye.
Oh, I agree.
Really, really, girl?
You call
this
it
is what you're doing?
On what?
What happened? Why didn't you go get you a sandwich?
So we've had calls for barbecues.
Come on.
People doing their jobs.
People doing their jobs.
People doing their
jobs. People being present at their jobs.
Right. Being present at their jobs on their own property. Taking a nap at a place that they pay all kinds of tuition for.
Listen, all I'm saying is be embarrassed.
Right.
I'm not saying who should be embarrassed. I'm just saying you should be embarrassed. I'm scared to take a nap on vacation now, right? What if I'm laying out, Soho House, London?
Right, being your best Black self.
Being my best Black self.
Living your best life.
Literally living my best life. Being my ancestors' dreams. And I got to worry about somebody may call the cops on me because I'm taking a nap.
Right.
They don't read the context clues. I know this because, sometimes I get on an elevator and someone grabs their purse tight. And I'm like, I have on Doc Marten loafers and a Club Monaco shirt. And I'm not saying those aren't labels. So I'm not even dropping labels. I'm just saying, read the context clues. I'm safe as fuck. You know what I mean? Sorry if I'm not supposed to curse on the show.
No, you can absolutely
okay,
curse
but
on the show.
I am shiny and safe. You should feel most safe with me. And you clutching your purse? I don't want your Michael Kors purse.
Right. Every time I've been harassed by the police, I look like Carlton Banks. Khaki shorts above the knee.
For sure.
Boat shoes.
For sure.
Light pastel polos. It never fails. So I'm never the checklist for who they should be pulling over. But yet and still.
I don't even look good in streetwear. It's crazy. Sorry. Yeah, I get excited and passionate about this because it's literally been happening my whole life because I'm from Florida. And as you saw in Atlanta this season, Florida man is all I'm saying.
Florida man.
Right? And so Florida is a very weird place where people do very weird things and you experience racism at a very early age. Hopefully that's not still happening,
but it's still happening.
Sure it is.
And instead of Florida man, we're dealing with
Florida woman.
Right, American woman
American women
who has decided that this is the way she's going to get attention for herself now. Like, it's not that I'm like the crown jewel of everything. Now I need a new place to express my tears. I need a new place for them to flow. And now it's on 911 operator recordings. And it's frustrating now because it's like every time we hear about a new phone call, the reason gets even sillier. It's like they're trying to outdo themselves at this point. Like, oh, you called for charcoal.
I got you. Right. I see your charcoal. Right.
Hold my my wine. Hold my over-the-counter medications. Hold my Prozac. I'm going in. And it doesn't make sense anymore. And even the cops are getting frustrated. So the most recent call we've seen, there was a woman who called on a man who was a real estate home inspector. He had just bought a property, put an offer out on a property. So this is a man who's in like the final steps to own this property, going onto the property, doing his job as a home inspector, gets the police called on him by a white woman who lives next door because he's been in the home too long. They roll up and they're like, ma'am, don't waste our time.
Listen, I see your home inspector getting the police called on him, and I raise you a story.
Okay.
Right? So I have a friend, very good friend, who just bought a home in Bed-Stuy. She's black. She's a woman. She did it on her own. She is single.
As black women always do.
Black women are always phenomenal. Black women are the only ones really getting it right. Like, we can go ahead and put that out there, right? So she bought this house, and she's having it gutted, redone. And so I was talking to her about it, and I was like, how's everything with the house? And she said, well, the woman next door called the city on me. And I was like, wait, what does that even mean, right? Like, call the city on me. And so essentially she filed a complaint with the city about the construction. And it wasn't that something was being done off the books or they were doing construction during the hours when construction shouldn't happen. Now, there's a building across the street that I'm sure is not owned by a black woman. They do construction off hours. And my neighbor did call 311 because 311 is a thing that you can call and file a complaint. So she filed this complaint basically because my friend cut down a tree that was on her property line. And the neighbor woman was like, I really don't feel comfortable with you cutting down that tree. Girl, you don't get to feel comfortable about what I do on my property. Like, I could take a piss right here and you could just eat it. Cause
that's like somebody walking up to your table in a restaurant and be like, I'm really not comfortable with that waffle you ordered today.
I don't like that you ordered all that pork. Cholesterol and all.
Right. You don't have to be.
You don't have it's not your business.
Right.
So not only was it a matter about a tree, but then she went on to say, I'm also not comfortable with you taking down your fence because now my children could fall through our fence. And she was like, but then you should get a better fence.
Right. Reinforce.
Like, that was my friend's response. She's like, then you should get a better fence. Like, why are you busying me with these problems? Like, why are you calling 311 on me to complain about the construction, but you've been over here chatting it up with my contractor, with my project manager, because this is the kind of woman this is. She has a project manager managing everything. She's not even there day to day. She's just like...
She got a team.
Yeah. She has a glam squad for her house, essentially, right? And so she was like, you've been chatting it up with my team, but now I'm talking to you and you got all these problems.
Right. Keep that same
So what
energy.
you've been over here doing is being nosy. Right. You've been nosy, and now you call 311 on me. So they're not calling 911 no more, Ken. They're calling 311. They're calling 311 to be like, got a complaint, and I'm in tears.
Because you have to think about, like, how much effort does it take to to really dig through a city's directory to find like the appropriate person to call for a tree getting cut. Well, there is no appropriate person to call.
No, because you're just being basic.
For white discomfort. Like,
Yeah.
There
probably should be, because it would be great research. It would be nice to be able to, like, put all of that, like, in a spreadsheet. Yeah, and then really talk about, like, what white discomfort feels like. It's funny, because I went to a unconscious bias seminar today for work, and I was like, I started off in my head like, well, I mean, I'm from the South. I'm a bigot. I'm not a racist. But like,
it's a part of kindergarten.
Yeah, South, and right? I think it's interesting that white people are like, oh yeah, everyone's biased. Like, I have bias. I'm like, yeah, duh. We all are biased. But my grandmother's is you have a black grandmother, you know. Right. She said something at some point that you were like, can't say that out loud.
But she was right.
But she was so right, right? She was so right. But then we all, that, I mean, everybody has some form of like bias and bigotry. But the difference is we're not calling the cops. Like, we're going to be like, knock, 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 hey.
Right. Ironically enough, we have a higher tolerance for like nuisance pain than everybody else,
because like, we're more communal.
Yeah, like it's just a part of our nature to let people be who they are,
to live in their truth,
right?
And if living in your truth is cutting down your fence and redoing it, then, and the other thing is like, she bought the house. Did you think she wasn't going to change things?
Right. Because I'm sure you changed things when you came up in there. I'm sure before you were calling 311, you was calling 911 or whoever lived there before.
Holla.
And that's why they moved out.
Now how about that? Right. Now how about those facts?
But you wasn't ready. You didn't know that she was about to get.
But what's going to be the shocker for her this summer when my friend is finally in her home is like, you have a very, very educated woman. We'll just call her a woman. Living next door to you. She'll run circles around you. And whatever it is you do, it doesn't matter. I don't know what you do. You could be a judge. I'm just saying, she got you. I know my friends. And so I'm like, this will be interesting. Because now you can't afford to step outside the line. If anybody will out-white woman you, it's black women. Black women will out-white women you in the most black woman way, and you'll be like, damn, you cursed me out, and it was sweet. Yeah, so I just feel bad for the neighbor, and also, I mean, I can't wait to go over, because I want to see the neighbor and, like, physically lock eyes on her, so that I can give her death stares every time I, like, walk into the house and be like, oh, you were the one? Got you.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the idea of her discomfort because, all right, if we look at the barbecue lady who has now become
the best meme
of 2018. She is hands down the best meme of 2018. If you haven't already seen this, please do yourself a favor and find the Purple Rain version of Barbecue Lady.
You showed that to me. That is actually the best one. The Wakanda one was really good, but the Purple Rain one really brought it home for black people.
That was art. Like they
they spent time on that. That was some Adobe, Photoshop.
Right. They went in. They did some color grading.
Whoever you are. Kudos. Your genius is unknown.
Right, kudos, chef's
Come
kiss.
forward. Yeah.
All of that.
All of that. Like, yeah.
But the thing that was peculiar about her situation was that the woman who addressed her about her ridiculousness was another white woman.
That's why I started this by saying it's not all of them. Because, like, so I work for the one. I work for the one. No. I work for a very fabulous white woman. But, like, white woman aside, she's just, like, a really great person. She's a nice human being. She's very smart. She encourages me. She has my back. Like, she's just dope. So I was late to my barber's appointment because she invited me out for drinks, and I was like, yeah, like let's. And then she said to me, tell me about you personally. Like, I just want to know you. Like, I don't want to talk about work. And those are like those dope experiences that you have. But she's the kind of white woman who would be like, yeah, so I live next to a really basic bitch who called the cops on my new black neighbor. And she would say that, and I know she would say that because she would be offended and she would be annoyed and she would probably be like, hard pass on you. I'm just going to be friends with the black neighbor. If for no other reason, to be petty to you because you're a bigot.
Right.
We're not calling people racist anymore because I think racist is really strong. We have to like draw a line, right?
We had to clearly identify. And classify.
She's a bigot because in her mind, this was a black person. She maybe didn't even know that they were black. She just knew that they were causing some fuss. And so she had to have like a moment and be like, I'm going to call 311 and like, I'm going to let them know how I feel. And like, ultimately you got nowhere. But like, to the woman who called on this barbecue, it's like, same story. Bro, nobody cares about your feelings. And you're calling about a barbecue.
Right. About some charcoal. And it was like a battle royale between a white woman who had time enough for another white woman. And it was almost like Infinity War of the white women. Like, they really went at it. And we would, in that case, everybody was hyped for the woman who stood up to this lady.
Yeah.
And what would we do in situations like that? We would invite this woman to the proverbial cookout, whatever that means.
Which is wrong.
Yeah, it's
wrong.
It's
She
wrong.
could get invited to like drinks.
Right. Not the cookout.
Not the cookout.
And that's what we're going to get into today. So table that. Before we get into that, I want to tell you guys who I've been talking to for the last couple of minutes.
Oh, God, a crazy person.
Right. I'm sure you're wondering who I picked up off the street to talk about.
Yes, found me on the subway, y'all.
So go ahead and tell the people who you are.
So we're in New York. We're in Brooklyn.
Yes, I didn't say that. We are live
from Clinton Hill.
Yes.
Yeah, so my name is Walt Brown. That's it. I'm Walt Brown. Tell him even.
Oh.
That's my thing, right?
Right.
I'm a writer. I live in New York. I do a lot of fun stuff sometimes. Sometimes I'm just chilling at home. Tonight I'm recording with you.
Yes.
My friend Kent.
Yes.
We met how many Thanksgivings ago?
Several.
Remember, it was like a turkey documentary. I have those. That documentary now. That was before like people were actually videoing things. Yes. Just taking like picture after picture after picture after picture.
It was a long time ago when I first moved to the A. And we have been friends ever since. And
we've been fast friends even. I was just like, oh, we're going to be friends for a long time.
and don't let Walt be humble about himself. He also forgot to mention that he is one of the creative geniuses behind Watermelon and Mimosas.
Oh, yeah. So it used to be a blog. Now it's about to be a podcast. We've been recording all year, and we're going to release it very soon, actually. So I'll send you the link, and you can send it out.
Yes.
Yeah, Watermelon and Mimosas. It's fun. It's a lot of things. It's a mess. I mean, it's just like it sounds, like watermelon. That's me. Messy, but like also fun, and everyone loves watermelon.
And refreshing.
Yes, and refreshing. Thank you, Ken. And then Mimosas. That's Jen. She's the person you want to be friends with. She's like the cool girl, and she would be like, "I'm not cool," but you're like, no, you are. And you're beautiful, and she's very smart. She's a journalist. And we just talk about life here in New York. I think the very first thing we recorded was around interviewing while black. And interviewing while black in New York, which is like...
It's a whole nother thing.
It's like a whole thing. Anyways, check us out. It'll be fun. I promise.
Yes, indeed. I am excited to hear...
Yeah, because you know the blog. So like I was just writing like... Today, and I stopped the blog because I was like, I'm moving to New York. I'm not trying to be Carrie Bradshaw like a bunch of other people in life. So like, I'm gonna put it on pause, and then when I figure out what to do with it, we'll do it. And here we
figure
are.
it out. Here you go. New medium. Who's this?
Yeah, new platform. Who this?
Right, who this?
Yeah.
So, Walt, when I bring people on the show, one thing I ask everybody is what is on their radar at the moment. And it could be a new album you're listening to, a new maxi single that you have picked up from your local Sam Goody and or warehouse.
Sure.
It could be a Netflix rabbit hole you've fallen into, a new book.
So I'll tell you three things. I tell things in threes. So I'm always watching Grey's Anatomy, even though I'm very current on the show. Like, I don't necessarily watch on Thursdays, but I definitely watch on Saturday. Like, Saturday morning cartoons when you were a kid.
Does anybody watch when things actually air anymore?
There are some people who do because you can see it on Facebook. But it's like...
While they're waiting for 311 to pick
right,
up.
but it's your aunties, and it's people who are just en route to auntie, right? So that's fine. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are amazing. No, so like Grey's Anatomy, because Shonda Rhimes is like brilliant, and the writing is really good. But also because it's like something I can like move around my house in, and like do things. So I'm always watching that. That's the rabbit hole.
Okay.
What I'm on right now is K-Tronada. I've been on K-Tronada, but like as we gear up for Afropunk in August, I like to like build up to it. I don't even know if he's performing it at Afropunk this year, but he's the right soundtrack.
He really is a summer soundtrack.
Yeah, and he's just really good and smart, and I'm just all about smart fucking black people right now. And I think that he's smart because he's a genius in whatever it is he does, right? And that's what we need more of. So yeah, K-Tronada for the music tip.
Have you heard the Robert Glasper K-Tronada album yet?
but Apple Music is amazing, so like I'll get on that right now. But I've been on that 99.9%.
Yes.
Because it's just really good. And I remember last year at Afropunk, someone said, "Oh, like I went to Afropunk by chance. Like didn't buy a ticket. Somebody was like, "Oh, we're going to Afropunk. I'm going to Afropunk."
Was it me?
Join me. No, it was another.
I was here last year.
Yeah, no, you were here. Like I think we barely saw each other. Like we may like done a high five and kept it moving. Yeah. Oh no, but we went out the night. We went out before because we went to Bedvine.
Shout out to Bedvine.
Shout out to Bedvine. Where actually that's where we record the podcast right now because we do a residency at a different bar every month. Another fun fact about watermelon mimosas. But anyways, yeah. I didn't know who he was for real. And someone was like, "You know him." And then he started spinning, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I know you from being like wasted in the club."
Right. Your body rolls. No.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh,
I have body rolls.
This K-Tronada." So K-Tronada on a music tip. And then I think my third thing would be right now I'm really into recording the music of the subway. So like
like the people who are performing on the subway, or like the
So a mixture, right? So you don't live in New York, but like people who live in New York who are listening to this, you'll get this. So sometimes at Fulton Street, when I go there, there's like a quartet playing classical music. Every time I hear that, I feel like, oh, it's going to be a really good day because this is such a great way to start the day. Classical music in the subway. And then sometimes if you go to like Union Station, there's a guy who's playing a really weird instrument. It's just loud and obnoxious, but like it's a sound of New York. And then sometimes there's these black guys on the A train or like the F train who like move through the train singing like My Girl and like Sam Cooke numbers. And so like I record these things because in my mind someday I will write something and like the soundtrack will be these subway sounds. I have to say that on your show, so now I know that I have it like where I said it first. So like don't steal it because you'll just be lame. And you won't do it as good as me. So it's fine. And I have the sounds.
And it's also accountability. Now that you have it recorded,
I have to do it. Facts. That's something that I'm really into right now. Like, I have a pretty large catalog even of these recordings. Okay. And sometimes people just get on and like start rapping. Like, it's just subway sounds. It's like all kinds of things. Anyways, so yeah, that's Those are the things that I'm into.
And you know, it's funny. So here, people get instantly annoyed by like subway performing artists in some situations.
Oh, yeah, it's super annoying. I'm not saying I'm not annoyed by it. I'm just saying that like I record, like if I have to be annoyed by it, then at least let me record it. And then sometimes you're just standing on the platform and you're like, still annoying, but like I know I can leave you soon.
Right. And I might be tapping my foot to your rendition right now.
Yes. Yeah, you know, it's like, are you singing Tyrone? Hey! Right? But the other thing is that I really don't enjoy mediocre performances on the subway. So like when they start saying Showtime, and then they're mediocre, I'm really annoyed. And sometimes I wish that I could like just instantly manifest of like plethora of like voguers who would be like challenge and then just start like voguing and being amazing and being like, get off the train, finish him. Anyways.
So you need a resident Kiki Shepherd.
All of that. I need all of that. I need all of it. At all times. It's like a walking
Sandman.
Yeah. Be like, get off the train. Woo. Like, yeah. Anyways, so that's what I'm doing.
We need to appreciate art in all of its forms, whether it comes on.
Not always, though.
On the 6 or
we were talking about this earlier. We don't always have to appreciate it. I'll pay for it, but that don't mean I like it.
That's true. I
saw Proud Mary, y'all. Look, so like I feel like I'm doing it for the culture.
That is an East Coast proverb right there. Like I don't have to like it, but I gotta support it. I gotta buy the ticket.
What did Issa Rae say? I'm rooting for everyone black. I really am.
I have an asterisk behind my I'm rooting for everybody black. There's a but behind mine.
Why is there a but? What's the but?
I'm rooting for everybody, but
I can talk shit if I want.
Right.
Okay, yeah. That's
because I rooted, I can
say what I want.
I can say what I want.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like your granddaddy.
Tell other black people.
Your granddaddy will go to your talent show, but he gonna be like, "Ooh, nigga, you glad I love you? You be glad I love you because
that boy can't carry no tune,
right?" He'd be like, "You need to find something else to do. This may not be your thing."
Right. You look at the military,
yeah. College ain't for everybody. Ooh. Black people are rough. That's why we so great. Cause
that's why we turn into diamonds. Cause
because they be like, yo, drill it. You gonna be great. Yeah. Oh, you know what I'm talking about, don't you?
So, what's on my radar?
Yeah, what's on your radar?
Please tell me right now. So, okay, I have been listening to this group out of South Africa called Batook, and they just dropped this album called Cassie Royalty.
I really wish I could remember something right now. Remember that there was something we used to go back and forth on GChat about, and it was like
GChat.
I know GChat. But remember, it was a phrase or like the way you call someone who always knows obscure music. You know what I'm talking about, what you're talking about, but I don't remember it. But you used to say that was me. I just want for the record to be known.
It has now become me.
It's totally you, because you were like, oh, this really cool group from South Africa whose parents like were on the transatlantic slave ship. That's what you just said to me, and I was like, okay, Tanahashi Kote. I know I said your name wrong. I'm sorry.
But, okay, so funny enough, the story that I'm about to tell is very much in line with the impression that you just gave. So, I was in Oslo.
You're so fancy.
I was in Norway for Oslo World, which is a music festival where they invite people from all over the world. And they had, in this very Scandinavian country, a Afrofuturism night as a part of their music festival.
How was that? It sounds amazing.
It was very...
But were there black people there?
Yeah, so okay. That's where we met like all of the black people that live in Oslo.
Make a little noise.
It was very weird to see like a lot of Scandinavian people really be interested in Afrofuturism. But one of the performers during that theme was Batook, and they came in and did some of their songs, and I thought it was dope, and I shot photos of them and became friends, Instagram friends with them because I sent them the professional photos I sent. But they dropped an album last week, and I've been bumping that lately. So that's been my thing.
It's so interesting how people no longer become friends; they become Instagram friends.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's a whole new category.
It's the new thing where you're like, "What's your Insta?" That's the thing now. No one says, "What's your phone number?" or what. Like it used to be, "What's your email?" It's "What's your Insta?" Because that's the capital, right? Like, I need to see how cool you are before I commit to being real friends with you.
It's like I can connect, but I'm not going to connect. It's like I can get enough to where I can feel like I have an idea of who you present yourself to be. Not even who you are, who you present yourself to be. But that's enough. And I know a lot of girls do that to avoid creepy guys. Like, oh no, just give me your Instagram.
Yeah. I had to talk someone through something when they were like, oh, I like this person, blah, 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 blah. And they were like, oh, I want to ask for the number. I was like, no.
Just get the Instagram.
No one asks for numbers anymore. This is what the young kids tell me that I work with. You just ask for their Insta. And then you DM them.
People be having whole lives, whole relationships off of a
DM.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I've definitely gone on a date with someone and I don't have their number.
So you had a whole, like, full-grown, a whole date.
Where we're going to meet, where we're going to do the things.
All on Mark Zuckerberg's service. So, okay. Let us roll into...
Yes, please, let's do it.
The topic of the evening. So, as we mentioned earlier, the battle royale between Linda and Emily for charcoal protection of Oakland.
It's Heather and Emily.
Right, Heather and Emily.
To be clear.
Okay. So Heather, being a responsible white person and doing the good white work, showed out against BBQ Lady, hashtag BBQ Lady.
Oh, you saw how I was giving the side eye?
Right. No.
Because I was I don't know what you're saying. Who is Heather?
Yeah. No.
Define who Heather is.
Heather
first.
was behind the camera that captured.
Heather is probably married to a black man. That's what we don't know.
She got a Rodney.
Yes.
Yeah.
She probably has more like an Andre.
An Andre?
Yeah. And Heather is like, my kids are black. I'm basically a black mama. Watch yourself.
Right. I'm not Rachel Dolezal.
I'm not out here living a fake life. I'm out here living this real life.
I know I'm white.
These kids came out of my vagina. I'm a black mama. Because I'm raising black boys and I'm raising a black girl. And because I was just saying to someone, y'all, I was like, why are black people hitting on Donald Glover right now? Talking about, oh, he married to a white girl. Why are y'all mad? He's still going to have a black child. Calm down.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably going to have a fucking Zoe Kravitz who will be perfect.
But they did the same thing to Jordan Peele after Get Out.
Oh, it's what we do. I don't know why we're this way.
Right.
I wish I did so I could talk us through it. And like, Ayanya, or however you... Sorry, thick Southern Florida tongue. Some words are never going to be said right. Yeah, Heather... the one who's on our side, she's like, nah, sis.
Right.
Not gonna fly. You know what? I'm gonna step in for them. And she said them because she still is like, might have married a black man still. If I need to escape.
I know my powers.
I know what I can do.
Right.
So I can meet you where you are, sis.
And she definitely did. But see that when we see that as a community, we are so quick to invite Heather to the cookout. Heather got first dibs on the macaroni and cheese.
But you know what? Heather's gonna bring that potato salad with
the raisins.
For sure.
She done went on Karen's Pinterest.
She done went on Karen's Pinterest and got the recipe for that whack ass potato salad. No, we can't. Listen,
so you don't like kale in your potato salad? Is that what you're saying?
Toast don't like kale. No. So I'll tell you, I have a bad habit of when I'm meeting up with my like crew in New York. I'll be like, oh, I was having drinks with a coworker and I brought them. And they always are like, my friends, what is it with you? And like, they'll wait till the person goes to the bathroom or whatever. And they'll be like, why do you always feel the need Why?
Oh, so you're an inviter.
They're like, no work friends. And so I'm not an inviter anymore. The only way I will invite now is if like it's a black person, black woman mostly, because I feel like I hang around a lot of like very cool black women who like a younger black woman could like. So if it's someone working on my team and they're a black woman, I'm like, you need a network of black women who can help you be great. That's what I do now.
Okay. But
before, definitely brought like white chick, like very white, like from Poland white around, and everyone was like, I mean, she's lovely, but like I can't be myself.
Right.
Because I gotta put on.
And that's the thing. Like we're so hyped to invite Heather to the cookout, and we don't understand
that she shouldn't be there.
Right. And that's okay that she's not there. We don't have to invite.
We don't have to be inclusive all the time.
Right. And it's so funny because
I've never shot clay pots.
You don't want to go shooting?
Well, no, they haven't invited me.
And you know why they haven't invited you?
Because that's their version of a cookout.
Right. And they know that you can be an ally to, I don't know, whatever. Right.
I don't even.
As I started to say it, I didn't even know where I was going with it.
Whatever you were going to say probably was wrong.
It was wrong. But they know that like that's their space and that you can still be cool with them and not be in their space. But
I can say nigger in private and you don't have to know about it.
Right.
And we're still going to be cool. And you know what? I don't feel great about that, but I don't feel bad about it.
Right.
Because I say a lot of fucked up shit in private. Sometimes I wonder if my neighbors can hear me because I'm like, yikes, that was super aggressive. I mean, there's a black woman living below me. She's lovely. She know I talk crazy. So she's probably like, I mean, she went to FAMU. Shout out to those Rattlers.
Hey, Rattlers.
So she knows me implicitly. So she'll be like, I heard you up there cussing somebody out in your head. And I'll be like, thank you. But then sometimes I wonder about my upstairs neighbors, and I'm like, yikes, that was super racist.
But it gets to that, and so there's
bigotry,
right? We're segmenting racism.
Yeah,
we're compartmentalizing racism.
Racism is for like outright.
It's the umbrella under which
we all live.
Right.
But like, that's not the umbrella that keeps me dry.
Right. Gotcha. So. This episode is tackling two things.
Yeah.
The holiday of Juneteenth.
My favorite holiday.
Which is your favorite holiday.
You know that it's my favorite holiday.
Which is exactly why
I'm the person that you're talking
I called you
yes.
and you are the best person to talk
and
about.
And I immediately was like, yes, double yes, yes, double yes.
And since I think the Juneteenth should be, not Memorial Day, but Juneteenth should be the collective jump off to cookouts for the year. And it was like, hey, why not talk about the proverbial cookout? And
Juneteenth.
Right. And so we're going to get into it. So I brought Walt on because for as long as I have known Walt,
yes,
every June 19th or
18th
or Saturday near it.
Yes. Yes.
He has done his best to have a really dope Juneteenth.
I haven't even been there some years.
Yeah, some years you haven't been there, but it still happens.
But it still happens. But it's also because I don't do it alone. So like, shout out to Shakira. We did this. So it's funny. One New Year's, I came to Atlanta, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna have brunch tomorrow. I should just cook." And she was like, rolling her eyes in her head, like, sure, sweetie, whatever you want to do. And she didn't think that I could cook. So she ordered a bunch of food just in case. And then I cooked, and she was like, oh, you can actually cook. Like, this is a real thing. So we did that New Year's brunch, and then she was like, should we do Juneteenth? And I was like, that's my favorite holiday. She was like, it's my favorite holiday. And so then we did Juneteenth that first year. Yes. You were there.
I was there.
You were there. And then we did it many years after, shower shoes included. That's the inside joke. And anyone who's listening who's been to Juneteenth, or Kara, you know what shower shoes are. Yeah, and so we've been doing that same brunch. We did it for the first time in New York last year. But like I said, there have been years that I couldn't even make it. And Kara's like, still happening. I FaceTime with you guys if I couldn't be there. But because it's an important holiday. It's the holiday where slaves learned they were free. And so I grew up thinking that it was like, this is the day we were free. Like, this is an important day. And, like, there were Juneteenth festivals in Daytona. Right. And, like, if you grew up in the South, probably there was some sort of Juneteenth celebration, right? And so, in my mind, there's no other holiday that trumps Juneteenth. Not even Martin Luther King Day. Not even Martin Luther King Day. And so, why shouldn't we be having brunch?
Right.
Why, drinking champagne.
Why shouldn't we be living our best Black lives? And I now agree with you. It should be the kickoff to summer.
And to cookouts.
I am
that is like that's one of the best things you said all year to me.
I need to work on the things I'm saying.
Yeah, well, but that's pretty impressive.
That's a good start. But so let's put things in perspective. Let's lay the groundwork.
Sure,
so
let's do it.
For those who don't know what Juneteenth is.
Who are you? And are you calling the police on us right now?
Right.
For having a good time. That's all I want to know.
So June 19th, 1865 is the original Juneteenth. And it was the announcement of the abolition of slavery.
You know that it took a whole year,
right, for it to make its rounds around.
Yes, to make its rounds to all the plantations.
Did you also know it was called Freedom Day? I didn't know that. That was news to me. I've always called it Juneteenth. I've always had a reference to Juneteenth.
I think maybe this year the back of the T-shirt should say Freedom Day.
I think so.
But you know what the theme is already.
What is the theme?
So the theme is Call the Police is Juneteenth.
So let's preface that. Every year there's a theme.
There's a theme. We had I never remember them all. Last year was Make Juneteenth Great Again.
That was a high point.
That was a high point.
My favorite one, and I still have. There were commemorative pins from this one. It was
the Juneteenth.
Yes,
the Juneteenth. That was a good one.
The Juneteenth Unchained, which is when the Django Unchained came out. But
so we've had some really fun years, and it's just important. And this thing could stay this very small brunch with friends. And it could be something much bigger. In either way, I'll just be happy because we're celebrating Juneteenth. But yeah, the Juneteenth was a good one.
Yes, that is my favorite.
Unchained, yeah.
So some other fun facts about Juneteenth.
Yeah.
It is only recognized in 45 states. You want to pull I don't know the other 5 states.
Let's guess the 5 states that it's not.
I'm gonna throw out 5. I'm gonna assume it's.
Can we Google it?
We can Google it.
Okay. Should we Google it?
We're going to Google it.
But guess first.
Yes, guess first.
So I would say Boston.
So that's what, Massachusetts?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I'm not that basic. For real. I actually am smart. But yeah, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana.
Okay, all right. So you have 3 out of 5.
Oh, so Boston's not right.
Boston is not right
because there were mad slaves in Boston. So
and because it's not a state. But
Massachusetts, Massachusetts. Oh, come on.
No, but you're
edit that out.
So Montana, North Dakota, and South Dakota.
Yeah,
3.
Okay, can I guess the last 2?
The last 2. All right, go for it.
Iowa.
Nope.
Really?
One of them you're not gonna get. I'm actually surprised as I'm looking at this.
One of them I'm not gonna get.
You're just not gonna get it.
Wow.
It's that it's gonna take you. You're gonna take a step back.
Oh, it's a southern state.
New
York.
No, that's not that bad.
Okay.
Hawaii.
Oh, I was gonna say Hawaii though. Oh, I should have said it. Oh, I would have been right.
So it's Hawaii, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and New Hampshire.
I should have said New Hampshire.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, but
I said Rhode Island. That feels like New Hampshire.
Yeah, who really thinks about New Hampshire?
No
New Hampshire
one.
doesn't even think about New Hampshire.
I mean,
shout out to New Hampshire.
Puerto Rico is more of a state than New Hampshire. And I mean that with love, New Hampshire. Right. Shout out to New Hampshire. Black people, y'all should write in from New Hampshire and like let us know y'all there. That's
so that we can help you move from there.
There's lots of internships and shit happening in New York. I can get you an internship.
But Walt, tell us why you have actively decided to make Juneteenth a thing.
Well, I think I already said it, right? Like, it's the day that we became free as a people. And so no matter that it took a year for us to know fully that we were free, I just think it's super important to remember our ancestors. Like, I was raised in a house where, like, and you can look around, like, we're in my apartment right now recording, and you see pictures of, like, my family all over, right?
I always feel, like, super warm in Walt's house because I feel like the ancestors are like, oh, you can come through and chill.
Yeah.
You can hang out.
Yeah.
You can partake.
Yeah. Because, you know, like, I grew up with a wall of like family photos and people that I had never met, and I would ask about them all the time. Like, who's that person? Who's that person? And why do we have the picture of them? And my grandparents, who I don't think they even knew they were nationalists, but they were like, those are your ancestors. Those are your family members. Those are people who like came before you. Like, you need to know who they are always. And like, I have so much deference for people who are older than me, no matter their race. Like, even on the train, on elevators, like, an older person really has to do something to offend me for me to like put up a wall, because otherwise I only know respecting elders. And so with that same sentiment, like, Juneteenth is a celebration of our freedom, and I can trace my family, at least my dad's family and parts of my mom's, back to slavery. Not back to boats, but like at least to slavery. Mm-hmm. Especially because like my dad's family was sharecroppers, like immediately like post-slavery. And for like years, in fact, that they had like bought their land. And like when I visit my cousins in South Carolina, they all live within acres of each other. And so like they're basically living on the plantation that they worked on. Like, that's how old this goes back. And like the same with my mom's dad's family. So like my maternal grandfather's side, like in Lake City, Florida, where they come from, it's the same exact thing. Like, and there's like stories in my family about people being like swindled out of their land by like crazy white people. And so I know this is like long-winded and like, you know, probably sounds super hotep-y, but it's really important. Like, my kids will celebrate Juneteenth, and I have friends, you know, Shara, like her and her husband were like, oh, I don't know what you and Kara are doing about Juneteenth, but if you guys aren't doing it in Atlanta, we're going to host one. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, I want my children to grow up celebrating Juneteenth in the same way that we have as adults. She's like, I really love brunch. I really love what we do there. I want our children to have that experience, and I want our friends who have kids to like, I want it to be a thing that we do. And I was like, maybe we should do them at the same time. And so like, that's something we're talking about. And like Shara and Reggie will go like above and beyond for this. And so I think, you know, if people were doing Juneteenth brunches all over the country, like, even if they may already be, but like, even if it spread like that, and like, FAMU, what's up? Y'all know how we do. So like, if y'all want to do it, let's do it. Let's do that, because like, why shouldn't we celebrate that day that we became free? It's the most important day to us as a people, because that's the day that we took back a little bit of power. And we're still trying to get that power back, right? Like, this is not, but like, this is the day.
It was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, like, this was the day where we were like, yo, and of course, there were slaves who were like, what? No, we're massa. And like, I have a good friend, Kimberly, who's a historian, who could, I wish she was here, because she would break this down in a way that I can't. But like, if you're not celebrating Juneteenth as a black person, like, I don't feel comfortable around you.
And that's that.
And that's that. And that's that. I mean,
in the
like,
episode.
Yeah. We done, like, microphone drop, but I'm just saying, because it's like, that's why I do it, because I grew up celebrating it. It's an amazing holiday. We have fun. We tell jokes. You know, that's probably where the only time you'll ever hear my Mary Bethune story, because, like, I've retired it officially, because I told it, I was wasted at a holiday party and I told that story and I was like, nope, not telling that no more. Stuff at Juneteenth.
So, okay, you opened the door to Hotepery.
Oh shit, I did. I said, that was
a bridge to Hotepery.
Oh my god, that's a bridge I never want to be on. And as a poet, as someone who used to be a poet, I know all the Hotepers. I know where they live.
Don't nobody use this as a quote against me in the near or distant future, but why don't we see Juneteenth or celebrations around Juneteenth as we do around other holidays like Cinco de Mayo or 4th of July? Let's just throw it out there. Why don't we give the same energy?
So Cinco de Mayo, I have a friend that tells a fantastic story about Cinco de Mayo. I can't do any justice. Cinco de Mayo is a weird holiday. Like, right. If you ask a Mexican person, they will be looking at you super crazy about Cinco de Mayo.
We're so loud and wrong about Cinco de Mayo.
So loud and wrong. And you know what? I wouldn't be mad if white people wanted to go get fucked up on Juneteenth and be like, yeah, happy Juneteenth. We freed our black people. Like, all of that. Like, cool. If you've ever seen Southern Charm, then you know that slavery money still exists.
Hey,
no shade.
Hey, generational wealth. How you doing?
Hey, generational wealth. We were talking about generational wealth and black people earlier and how we should do that, but we can't talk about that on the podcast because that's a secret.
And another episode.
Please let me know when you post that. But yeah, I mean, 4th of July, because, you know, white people's independence is way more important than blacks. And so there's no fireworks for freeing slaves. Like, that's free labor gone down the... Yeah, it's like, oh, if we had to pay all the qualified black people more than 6 figures, ooh, be another Juneteenth. Because I know I could get $1 million. I'm worth $1 million.
But it's like, okay, so we as a community are always touted, and this is a self-tout thing that we do for turning a negative into a positive. So why is it that
hey lemonade.
Yeah, why can't we turn Juneteenth into the turnup? Like, why isn't Juneteenth the thing?
Well, we should just do it.
Yeah.
I think this is it. Like, we just have to do it. I think our parents' generation did what they could, because I went to Juneteenth festivals in little old Daytona Beach. Shout out to the crib. 386 used to be 904. I think we can do it. I don't know why we haven't, but I would encourage everyone in earshot of this, have a Juneteenth party, have a brunch, invite your friends over, play games, do all the things. If you really trill, you have some edibles for those guests that want them, out of the reach of children, of course, because the kids should be there too. Right? Like, this should be a safe environment to talk about being black as fuck and celebrate being black as fuck and just be. Like, we deserve it. I feel like we should get it off.
I agree. Do we
like the whole week?
No, we're not going to turn it into that girl who celebrates her birthday the whole month.
Yeah, you'd be like, we celebrate Juneteenth all week.
Juneteenth applies from June 13th to June 19th.
Until it's a teen, until it's a 20.
All of the teens.
And you'd be like, and this is why we can't have nothing nice, basics.
But do we not give Juneteenth the credit it deserves because of the kind of negative around it? Like, do we not want to acknowledge
about
it?
Slavery.
Yeah, do we not?
People hate talking about slavery. I love talking about slavery. I love talking about slavery. You know why? Because people went through it.
It's a thing. It existed.
I love talking about slavery. I love talking about civil rights. I love talking about all the shit that was rough because, like, yo, this is our history. Slavery happened. I personally don't think I would have made it through slavery.
Are you not Kanye? You don't have the dragon energy?
No, Kanye's silly. Quote me on that. Kanye's silly, period. No, I don't, because I'm lazy. I'm not lazy in real life. Like, I think I'm a go-getter. I do, like, I get shit done. But, like, compared to a slave, nigga, I'm lazy. Like, nah. Like, I would have gave up. I wouldn't even made it across the boat ride. I probably would have thrown myself off the boat like, done. Like, slavery? Nah, nigga, you're not about to lock me up. Nah, I'm good. I'm good, homeboy. Yeah, Kunta, hold it down for me, homie. Mad love to the kids. Yeah, no. I just think, but we're lazy as a people. Like, we're not lazy. We're not really lazy. So please, like,
because nobody wants to do that work.
Yeah. Like, nobody please don't write me no nasty notes. Like, I don't want none of that because I love black people. I want us to be great. But if we're comparing ourselves to slaves, we're lazy. I mean, we're not as lazy as others. Because they weren't even slaves. They had slaves. So they're super lazy. I mean, we're obviously smart and capable and, like, geniuses. But compared to slavery, like, I'm not going to be out here and say, like, I'm as productive as a slave who taught themselves to read, who had children from master and their husband, who picked cotton and then went home and cooked food.
Right.
I'm just saying. Like, those are just lightweight. Like, just that's light. Please don't make me get heavy.
And it was every day. Every day.
Sun up, sundown. You know what I'm doing when the sun comes up? Meditating. I'm lazy. Right. That's lazy. I should be doing something more physical. So I'm just saying, like, so before you write me that nasty note and be like, you ain't black enough, you ain't woke, put me on your own woke list, you're lazy. You're lazy, and I can say it because every time I meet someone older and black, I'm like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough as a human being because you did way more. But it's because they have paved the way for us to be able to do these things, right? And so at some point, we will have paved the way for little brown and black children to do things that we can't even imagine. And it'll be amazing. And this is why we have to celebrate Juneteenth. Because those slaves who are your ancestors, whether you know it or not, they did things so that we wouldn't have to.
Right.
They killed niggas so that we wouldn't have to.
And it sounds so cliche to be like, my ancestors' wildest dreams.
But I literally am.
You're like, you really are.
Like, I'm not even the slaves' wildest dreams. I'm the people you see in the photos around my house wildest dreams. They couldn't even see this life for me until they were, like, transcended and, like, looking down on me.
And some of them are still here and still can't see.
Yeah, like, my mom and my aunt, sometimes I'm talking to them and I tell them things and I have to, like, sort of scale back what I say and what I don't say because, like, in their minds, they're like, what are you saying right now? And not in, like, you can't do those things, but, like, wow, like... And I've had friends that have come to visit and they're like, you must feel real fucking cool to, like, work in this neighborhood. And I'm like, this neighborhood is gross. But I realize that, like, I live in a city where people only come one time, have an experience, and it's the best experience of their lives. And they're like, I went to New York City and I did this. This is my everyday. And so, and that's not even a humble brag. That's just like I'm literally my ancestors' wildest dreams, and I'm not even talking about back to slavery. I'm talking about, like, my grandfather. Well, my grandfather was pretty dope, but probably his mom would be like, nah, that's not real. So anyways, yeah, like, that's why we celebrate Juneteenth.
And on that note, we're going to take a brief break, but we'll be right back to wrap up this episode of Ungentrified after a word from one of our sponsors. This episode of Ungentrified is brought to you by Black and Abroad. Black and Abroad is an online travel community dedicated to inspiring and celebrating the experiences of Black travelers and expats. Interested in traveling with a handpicked group of individuals just like you? Check out Black and Abroad's curated travel experiences in destinations worldwide.
Upcoming trips include Cartagena in June and Johannesburg in December for Afropunk. You can find out more about Black and Abroad and its upcoming journeys by visiting weareblackandabroad.com.
And so it is established, it is ruled upon, it is case closed.
Yeah.
Juneteenth is the official kickoff to
And
summer.
you can't invite white people to Juneteenth. Right. Sorry.
Yes, and let's get into that.
To get back to the point, right?
Let's get into that.
Yeah.
So the cookout, the proverbial cookout that we have given out invitations to everybody, but we got some cleaning we need to do internally before we start inviting other people. You know, your mother and your grandmother and all of your others always tell you, like, don't invite people to your dirty house. Why are we so keen to invite everybody to the cookout?
I might have to get some more rosé on that. No.
It's peculiar to me. Like, we complain a lot, and this is me being super general. We complain a lot about a lack of safe spaces, right? Safe spaces.
But then we ruin our safe spaces with like plus ones.
Right. We want Heather on the call sheet for the cookout. We got some work to do before we start inviting people in. And I don't think we realize that as a community. But it's just
Well, as you know already, I use the N-word because I do. Some people feel a way about it. Some people don't. I personally, it's a word I use. I mean, I use it once I have kids because I don't actually want them to know it. I don't have kids. I don't use it in front of kids. With friends, I use it because this is like, you know, and I hear kids sometimes talking and I'm like, oh, you're saying it. But I also remember being a kid and being like, shut up, nigga. But I say all that, it's just like, I don't like using the N-word in front of white people. So if you invite them to the cookout, now I feel weird.
Right. Now you have impinged upon
me being safe. It's not a safe space anymore. And I'm not going to eat her food because she probably has a cat.
But, okay, so...
I say her, right? It could have been a guy.
It's Heather. Can we appreciate Heather and what she does? Heather is the ally,
Can we appreciate Heather at Heather's house?
Yeah, like
at Heather's barbecue?
Can Heather be who she is without having to be invited to the cookout? Like, why do we have to extend that hand for things that we also say, well, Heather's doing what she needs to do. She's supposed to be doing that. She's supposed to be.
Yeah, but that's like saying an executive assistant at a job is like scheduling meetings. That's your job.
Right.
Your job as a white person is to check your privilege.
Right. It's to
check your counterpart's privilege.
Right. Check your 53. Check that 53% who don't know how to act. And that's the work you're supposed to do. Now, we can give you cookies, but we shouldn't be inviting you to the cookout. Like, we need to acknowledge that people are doing good work, but they don't have to come to the safe space, because what happens is we have a new thing to complain about, but it's a thing that we've created for ourselves.
You saw what happened when they invited a white boy into Wakanda. He stole shit.
Right. Thanos then rolled through. Yeah. Wakanda ain't been right since.
Let me tell you a funny story about, so the building I live in, it's mostly black people who live here. It used to be black owned until like a month ago. So when I first moved in, at some point I must have left one of the doors open. One of my neighbors was like, Walter, that's your name? And I was like, yes, ma'am. Because mostly everyone's older than me. She was like, did you leave this door open? I said, I may have, ma'am. And she was like, you can't do that, because there's white people in this neighborhood who steal. You know white people steal, right? And I couldn't even, I was like...
Bigotry
at its best.
Bigotry.
It was so funny because she was so dead ass. And then I was talking to my neighbor downstairs and she was like, oh no, there was a white couple who was stealing our packages. This is a real...
Not your good Amazon Prime that you work for.
Hi. Not my J. Crew package. You stole my J. Crew? I'm going to get you. Stole my fake cashmere sweater.
Well,
I ain't shit.
None of it.
I ain't shit.
Are we as a people too inviting?
Yes. We're so communal. Everyone knows that. And they take advantage of it. It's how they got the slaves. We were like, oh, hey. But people have literally moved in, taken over, colonized. How are you colonizing something that's already...
Right, established.
It's actually older than you.
It is you.
You came from this.
Right, you are a derivative of this establishment. But I think what happens is we are, like you said, we're such a communal people.
Yeah.
That
we don't even know. We give people more rope than they need. They don't hang themselves. They hang us.
Right.
Oh shit! I might have said a word.
Right, if that ain't a word.
Right.
That was the sound of the collection plate being
right.
promptly.
That was definitely the collection plate was being like, come on now, put your $5 in. Don't take no change out.
Calibrated for all of the dollars that were set to be put in there. We as a people always talk about discernment, but I don't know if we know.
I mean, we have the discernment, but sometimes we don't use it.
Yeah, like we'll get the eyebrow raise and still invite these people to the cookout, whatever the cookout is. I'm not even sure what the cookout is anymore, because it's something that's become tainted because we don't know how to maintain things for our community. Yeah, like if the cookout is so sacred, then why do we choose to invite people for the smallest of victories? You know, like why do we give consolation invitations to the cookout? Heather behind the camera for Barbecue Lady got automatic passes to whatever charcoal fired cookout was going to happen after that. And it was just like, but she's
still Heather.
Right, she's still Heather. We don't even know Heather in her entirety.
You know what it is? Heather probably got good weed.
It was.
Heather always has good weed.
It was Oakland.
That must be it, right? Because what else could it be? It ain't her food,
right?
It's her shepherd's pie.
So we've established that summer now officially kicks off on June 19th.
Definitely,
or Saturday in its proximity.
And or before.
And or before. In the general area of June.
And or around.
Yes. And that Heather got to pass some more tests before she's invited to the cookout. Are there any other cookout protocols that we need to abide by going forward?
Yeah, there's several. Definitely need wood chips.
We need wood chips. Apple cured wood chips.
They don't have to be apple cured. I'm just saying wood chips are important for the taste, right? No plastic cups.
No plastic cups. No. So good China. Good China.
No.
Not good China.
Good China sounds like a whole nother. That's another podcast. No, you know what? I take that back. Red Solo cups are always fine. Okay. Definitely never styrofoam.
No styrofoam on June 19th. We are progressive black. Yeah. We are not tarnishing our environment.
Yeah. I prefer glass. Because I think it's just like, why shouldn't we be drinking out of glasses on Juneteenth? And wood chips are important. We do brunch, so I'm not saying you have to have a bar, but for the sake of this conversation, for a barbecue, wood chips are important.
Should there be a benediction? Or is that too much?
I don't know that it needs to be a benediction as much as there should be a toast of sorts.
Can it be a symbolic benediction? Not, and I might get shot for this, not a playing of Frankie Beverly's Before I Let Go.
Oh, okay. So before, so does that mean that we're muting R. Kelly during Juneteenth? Because I feel some sort of way about that.
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with muting him?
Since we're talking about inviting people, we should also be talking about revoking access.
So you're on the mute R. Kelly.
I'm on the
I'm just curious.
Let's not trigger people during Juneteenth. And that's a trigger point for some people.
So I guess we can't watch the Cosby Show either.
I'm not saying we fall down the slippery slope.
But so last year I played Martin. Well, I played the best of Sinead, and there were like a few black women in the room who I love. As soon as Sinead came on, they all pulled their phones out and started texting feverishly, and they would not look at the TV. And I was like, "Ooh, I played that wrong," because in my mind, Sinead is really funny.
Right.
But these are like Jack and Jill girls, and they were like, "Nah, son, that's not funny. She making fun of black women." They ain't say any of that. And I bring this up to them sometimes. And they're like, that didn't happen. I was like, it did. And I got y'all on video.
Right. Yeah,
So, I mean, maybe you also shouldn't play Sinead at Juneteenth because it didn't go over well for me.
So no. Well, you know what? Maybe we should remove ourselves from television and or movies. But then we have music.
But then what's the music that we're going to play?
Yeah, we left with...
Are we going to all just listen to Solange?
That's a hard one. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, is the music Stevie? Stevie feels Juneteenth.
Yeah,
Stevie. Okay, so fine. Here, Stevie is the Juneteenth soundtrack.
I can clap to that.
Okay,
I can clap to that.
So Stevie, wood chips, solo cups,
Brown liquor.
or China. Obviously,
and brown liquor.
Hennessy.
Okay.
And probably for some people, Honey Jack.
I hate Honey Jack.
I think women like it because it's like they can drink Jack, but it's not as like on ice, without it being as like aggressive. Because really, outside of Honey Jack, I don't know that you should be drinking Jack on ice.
Well,
it's a little rough.
Can we drink Jack now, knowing that it was the invention of a black man? Can we do that?
Damn, Jay-Z, you really took me down a rabbit hole here.
In celebration.
So that means we got to drink Ciroc too? Because I can't drink coconut Ciroc.
Let's not take it too far.
Did a black man also invent Basil Hayden? I hope so.
We'll Google that.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that. I mean, we could drink Brown Reserve, which is like the black vineyard in Napa, right?
We need to create.
Or I don't know. Maybe Brown Reserve is not the right. But whatever their vineyard is called, the Brown Estates, I think is actually what it's called. Maybe we should just drink that. And Andre.
Not Andre.
Andre, I did. Yeah, I used to hate Andre.
Andre has his purpose,
but Andre is like the Prosecco of the people. We can't call it champagne, right? Because it's not from France. I mean, we barely should call it Prosecco. It's like beer in a champagne bottle. I mean, when that plastic cork comes off, favorite sound.
So, yeah, we need to create a rider for Juneteenth celebrations.
Yeah, we do need a rider for Juneteenth. It includes red Solo cups,
wood chips,
brown liquor, and Stevie Wonder. I think we'll add to this list as
That's a sound foundation. I think that's enough of the tools to work with to start.
Last year we did a reading from the Keys. This year we'll probably do a reading from the Gucci Man
biography.
It's really good.
I haven't read it.
Oh no, it's really good. I keep it on my desk at work because I'm trying to build this culture at work of like bring the books that make you and like put them on your desk so like people can look at those books and kind of get an idea of who you are.
I can't come over here and say that.
Yeah, so I have Gucci Man, Lean In, and
I, Tina, the autobiography.
No. A book around organization, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. This book is life-changing. I knew there was an executive from Facebook that was reading it, and someone said, he's reading that, blah, blah, blah. If you tell me someone successful is reading a book,
you're reading that book.
I'm going to read that book, even if it sucks, because they're more successful than me. Real talk. I mean, why do you think Oprah's book club is so important?
Right. And if they can afford a sucky book, I want to be able to afford a sucky book.
Yeah, but like that book, it really so the process of really getting organized takes a year. I'm in like month 6.
Oh,
7.
okay. So you're halfway there.
Yeah. So we'll see where I'm at in a year, but it's a process that she walks you through in the book, and then you're like, oh, this is a real thing, and I did some real major work, and it works.
So we need to apply those principles to the collective
Juneteenth.
Yes. So it is a process for us. That writer is in progress. We're working on it.
Yeah.
But I think we've done the good work today. We have identified, solidified that June 19th and surrounding weekends are
Juneteenth.
Yes.
We talked about in the history.
From June 12th to June 19th.
Oh, you took it. Now it's 12.
Yeah. I said 13.
Oh, it should be.
You know how black people extend.
Right. You'd be like the 12th through the 20th.
Right.
Just in case it's a leap year.
From the 2nd to the 43rd.
Right. From February 1st through June 30th. It's Juneteenth.
It's Juneteenth.
Right.
From now going forward.
Right.
And that Heather is waitlisted until further notice.
Heather's not invited unless she got the good weed.
Right.
And she's invited late because you know white people are on time.
Right.
So you tell Heather, if the barbecue starts, if you tell black people 4, you tell Heather 8.
And
because black people not getting there till 6.
Heather, you can bring the ice.
Oh, what can I bring? You know what would be really helpful? Some ice.
And some Tupperware. Because styrofoam wrapped up in aluminum foil don't last as long as it should.
Yeah.
And the food be good. I want it to last a couple of days.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe some cupcakes.
Right.
Because white girls can do cupcakes.
Let's let Heather do the work she's supposed to do. And in her daily life, and if she is added to the VIP list of the cookout, we'll give her the appropriate responsibilities.
But what happens when Heather's married to Andre?
Well,
because are you saying that Andre can't bring his wife?
No, Andre can come.
He got to bring his wife though.
That's Andre's problem. He got to work that out. He made that choice.
I done seen plenty of people show up to a party without their wife.
Right. See?
And they wife be black.
Mm-hmm.
But lame.
Right. See? So Andre knows the rules. He'll figure it out. That's his problem. We can't tackle everything in this episode.
You're right. Right.
Right.
But this has been good. Thanks for inviting me on.
No,
man.
thanks for coming on. So, like I said, we've done some important work today.
We've done the Lord's work, in my opinion. Yeah, I hope that people walk away with a new understanding of Juneteenth, and I hope that you get responses from people saying that they're hosting Juneteenth parties.
I do too.
Black and abroad.
Right.
Everywhere.
Show up and show out and do an international Juneteenth.
Please do an international Juneteenth. Oh my God. Please let me know if people do. That's super important. That's important work.
Yes.
Right.
And if you're in Hawaii, Montana, New Hampshire, North or South Dakota, please
be true.
Right. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
Okay.
And start a chapter of Juneteenth celebrations in your neighborhood.
Invite me. I will come to North, South Dakota, and those other 3 states. I knew Montana was one.
Montana was
New
one.
Hampshire.
New Hampshire
was
the other one.
What was the last one? Hawaii. Yeah. But I'm not going to hate on Hawaii. I mean, it's an indigenous state.
Right. They got other things they working with.
Yeah.
They trying to figure out who they need to invite to the luau.
Unfortunately, slavery didn't happen on Hawaii. Right. Could you imagine if it had, though?
But they dealt with other issues.
Yeah,
That's
it's brown people there. Mm-hmm. I mean, Hawaii was bought, much like Louisiana. Anyways, this was fun. Thanks.
Yes. So, okay, Walt, tell the people what you have coming up next.
So what I have coming up next is watermelon and mimosas.
Yes.
So that's super exciting. And other things I can't talk about yet, but it's still exciting.
Yes.
But watermelon mimosas is the most important thing right now. That's what's up with me. Yes. I mean, if you want to check me out, Walt Brown, tell them on all platforms.
On all platforms.
No relation to the rapper.
And of course, you can find us, Ungentrified, on ungentrifiedpodcast.com. You can find us socially on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at UngentrifiedPod. You can find me, your host, Kent Johnson, at Kent, Kent_ESQ on Instagram and Twitter. Walt, thank you for...
Yay, this was amazing.
It was a good time. Helping me do the good work.
We did the Lord's work today.
We did so much good work today.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this was good.
Yes.
I hope maybe you'll invite me back and we'll do some more good work.
Yes, live from BK. We are out.
Peace.
Peace.